I'm Jeff Banks and welcome to Retail Insight from the Spring Fair. I'm delighted to be joined by Tim Hollis from Talking Tables, that are a company renowned for innovative and, again, forward-thinking products. This year is the 75th anniversary of the Spring Fair. It's now still the largest trade fair in the United Kingdom. Quite an amazing achievement. So what we're going to be talking to Tim is where the fair is important to him and where he thinks his business is going in the future. Tim, delighted that you joined us.
Yeah. Thank you. Thanks.
So, Talking Tables, what's the essence of it? What's the inspiration of it?
So the inspiration is very much that the founder, Claire Harris, set up the business 25 years ago this year. So again, we're celebrating a nice anniversary. She set the business up from her kitchen table, having identified a gap in the market. In terms of bringing people together around a table and having a conversation with products where she'd identified a gap in the market. Her background had been very much in a corporate career. She spent a year working in Liberties to get a feel of retail, and Talking Tables was born out of that in terms of products such as birthday candles, sparklers, anything, games, to bring people together around a table to enjoy a celebration.
And does that include tabletop products?
It does, yes. And interestingly, that's something that we're moving more into with a reusable focus. We have elements within the range already that are glassware, candlesticks, paper plates, paper cups, paper napkins, which we're known for. But we're looking, and we're going to be launching next year at Spring Fair, a whole new collection of reusable homewares, including enamelware, ceramics, extending our glassware ranges.
So when you're looking at product, does it have to have what I call conversationality about it? It's something that you're going to talk about. There is a narrative to it.
Exactly. And I think that's done very much by colour, design, slightly different to what you might find in another supplier. We try and set ourselves apart in terms of how we design and approach the products. Colour, as I said, is really important, and you'll see that, you know, we think long and hard when we're setting up our stand at Spring Fair about what colour to use, how it will best show off the product. And also we use the trade show very much for gauging our customers' responses and feedback to those products, because you don't want to be launching a product that actually everyone in the office might like, but actually your customers are the key to the success of that.
How much work goes into the design of the stand that you're actually going to take to Spring Fair, the preparation of it?
Yeah, a huge amount. We've got a relatively small team involved. One of the areas that I look after now is our trade show activity. I joined the company 18 months ago, so I'm relatively new to the business. And obviously post the pandemic, we've upscaled, and we're having done 4 trade shows last year. We're doing 12 this year and are looking to grow that, which I think shows to us and to the market what the importance of trade shows is. But in terms of, back to your question about how we develop the stand, yeah, we mock it up, we visualize it, we have an excellent stand builder. So the process is quite smooth, but you know, the colors, you know, the placing of products is key.
Do you keep a continuity in the design of the stand, or so that your customer recognizes you every time they come back? Or do you actually say, we're going to need to change everything to appear new each time you actually present a stand? Is there?
Yeah, I'd say a bit of both. I'd say, yes, continuity is important because, you know, you need your customers to immediately recognize you. So whether that's through your brand, our tag, our strapline, host it, love it. But then I think also you need to make customers stop and think and think, oh, actually, they're doing something a bit different. I'll go on there. I know Talking Tables, but maybe I haven't been on it for a couple of years, but we'll step in and take a look. So
do you have a thing that attracts you? I can remember an Italian fabric trade fair I used to go to, and they always had Parma ham and red wine. And everybody made a beeline.
I don't think we have anything quite as exotic as that. It's more paper napkins, maybe, and we always offer the customer a glass of something nice on the stand.
Now, sustainability, an important part of the DNA of Talking Tables.
It is, very much so.
Why?
And, well, I think with the market that we're in, with disposable tableware, it's very important that it has an environmental message. We are proud that we gained B Corp certification a few years ago, which is a very stringent process to go through, both from a internal and external process.
So you are a B Corp?
We are, yes, yeah.
Could you just explain, because a lot of people talk about B Corp, and they don't actually know the hoops you have to go through to be able to gain that position.
And I think that's it's growing in terms of how
desirability,
both the trade and the public recognise it, because it's easy to put the logo onto the stand, but what's behind it from both a social and environmental perspective. So it's very much that you're audited by B Corp in terms of not just your supply chain, but also your internal processes and your approach to sustainability, reusability, and then you're tracked and you're given a score, and then it's something that you have to review and examine each year.
Yeah, not an easy process.
No, but it's gaining traction, and I think, you know, if we're looking into the future in 25 years' time, there are a lot more businesses that will be on that journey and wanting to be.
Now, there's a certain anomaly in disposable products and sustainability. How do you reconcile the two things?
So in terms of our collection, a figure that we've got for autumn winter is that 90% of our products are plastic free, which is, we are, in terms of our Christmas crackers, as example, no plastic content. That's including all the packaging and the products that's inside the crackers. We were first to market with fully plastic-free paper napkins. Our napkins come in a recycled paper carton, and we use an extra napkin at the front, which is the cover and the protection, rather than them being wrapped in cellophane. So none of our products are now wrapped in plastic. They are, and then in terms of the recyclability, all of those paper products are recyclable.
And the manufacturing sources that they come from?
Yeah, so they're all from FSC sources, and we have a supply base both near to home and in the Far East.
What do you see as now the future for Talking Tables?
So we've just reset our strategy for the next 4 years and where we want to be. As I mentioned earlier, the route of reusable, sustainable homewares in materials other than paper, so glass, ceramic, enamel, we're really exploring and will launch at Spring Fair next year. We are well established in the UK. We're looking to further our spread in America, where we do have a sales office, but it's a huge territory. We're gaining new distribution links in other parts of the world as well. We've just taken a new distributor in Australia, for example, and working with a new one in France and Holland.
And that will be distributors distributing your product, but not you actually. Will you be exhibiting at trade exhibitions in those areas as well?
Yeah. So, for example, we're at twice a year with our European distributor at Maison Objet. We show at a small show called Show Up in Holland, and a Shop Object in New York twice a year.
That's a difficult nut to crack, isn't it?
Yes.
The American market.
It is. And that's where fair for us in the States, which is the marketplace, is a very useful way of selling our products.
Now, why is Spring Fair so good and so important for you?
Well, I've been going there. My background is in buying. So I was, many years ago, worked as head of buying for a department store called General Trading Company that was in Sloane Street, which was a market leader in terms of innovative products. And I used to walk the show every year. And I used to say to my team, you need to walk every aisle because you will never know what could be round the corner. I think there's sometimes the danger of being a lazy buyer in terms of how you approach it. And also just because of the layout of the show, it doesn't mean that all glassware is going to be in one area, all cookware. So I think being inquisitive at a trade show and not afraid to ask questions, just really immerse yourself in it. And I think shows will always be important because face-to-face contact is, and we're seeing the importance of that growing again. And I think trade shows need to adapt in terms of maybe having more areas of inspiration for the customer when they're there. Trend areas are really important, and not just aisle after aisle of suppliers, because sometimes you need a break and you need maybe a wow point to cause a discussion.
Yeah. Now, you actually talk about trade fairs for being the root of product direction and inspiration, and yet the retail market, the retail landscape is changing dramatically. So the reason you've got trade fairs is because you had massive number of department stores, you had high street stores, you had a route into the market that fed. That's obviously changing, not just here, but across America, across Europe. So what's to say that the validity of a trade fair is not going to fade in the way the retail landscape has faded?
So I think it will be a mix. I think obviously we're seeing less orders being written at shows because it's a very different time. People can, go back, look at the B2B website, have all that detail there.
Yeah.
We see that, and from a perspective of when you're at a show, it always used to be about finding newness, not necessarily talking to your existing suppliers. So we'll have customers, great customers, who'll come by, say hi, but actually they know the brand, they know the products. They probably order it through the B2B website or maybe through one of our agents in the country. So I think the validity of the trade shows will alter, but I think at the same time, they're not going anywhere.
But where is now the customer, the department store, the high street presence? Where are you now using those trade fairs to aim your direction?
So I think with our bigger customers, we're using them to maybe host a meeting at the trade show. And that could be maybe not on the stand, but we step off and go and have a coffee, show them some newness that maybe isn't on the stand, get their opinions. The independents, which we have over 1,000 of in the country, from the tip of the country to the top, they still want to actually probably write a small order at the show.
Right.
And it depends maybe on the age of the owner operator of that business.
Yeah.
And a gift store that has one branch that is very different to a chain of department stores.
Yeah.
And, we have got those customers. We are in the department stores and we do work with volume grocery as well.
Do you still get a buzz from being at Spring Fair?
Yeah, completely. And I think
I was going to say, does it make the hairs on the back of your neck stand? But I'm not going to ask that question.
But no, I do. I think for me, it's the most important time of the year.
Why?
Well, you're meeting your customers, you're presenting your new products, you're getting that feel of how the market is. We know that things have been difficult. We're looking ahead now. The summer's been quite hard. I know a lot of independents have had a tough retail time. But, we've got some great things in the pipeline for Christmas. Christmas is a calendar date that doesn't alter. And it's whether it's independents prep later for it or earlier.
Yeah.
They still need the stock for Christmas. And so I think we're focusing now on that for the next couple of months at our trade shows. And then, it's,
Now, you're not the only ones that focus on Christmas.
No.
You've now got the big supermarkets, you've got the low price retailers, absolutely focusing on Christmas because they can see the potential now. This one area that you can rely on. What do you create that they can't, that gives you that predominance that you have in the market?
I think, it's a quality product. It's obviously, with a design element, the sustainability that we mentioned, a lot of what you find maybe in the grocery world is still wrapped in plastic. So yes, it's an elevated design of a product, whether that's birthday, Halloween, Easter, or Christmas.
Yeah.
All those occasions that we play into are really key calendar dates for us.
Yeah.
Birthday being one, obviously, people have birthdays every day. So for us, we've seen, and I've been introducing some ways of retailers being able to have easier ways of merchandising in stores. So last spring fair, we introduced 3 new specific merchandise units for customers to use, which have had great feedback. One for paper napkins, and then one that we're sort of calling a celebration station, where we can have a variety of our branded products on.
Right. You talked about your strategic plan for the next 4 years. If you had a crystal ball, what's the next 25 years going to look like?
Well,
if I was to have been sitting here in the year 2000 and said, Nick, what's it going to be looking like in 2025?
You think back to the millennium, don't you? And it was sort of all doom and gloom about everything crashing, but we sort of went into it and
they're still talking about it.
So I think the next 25 years, I think I'm hoping that where we're seeing empty retail units on the high street, that will can be addressed.
How?
Well, that will need support, because I know rent rates that the independents face in small units are crippling.
Yeah.
I think specialist destination retailers is an area that is, if they get it right, is growing, where it's an experience. It could be a garden centre that displays products beautifully, but also it's got a catering facility where people can go and have a coffee, meet a friend, park for free.
Yeah.
All of those things, from our perspective, our customers are doing well in those sectors. I think it's the high street, and you don't really see too many new gift shops popping up on the high street anymore.
So could you see Top Table having its own retail outlets?
Probably not, I don't think, because our business is very much to the trade. So I know pop-up retail is, it's great for the brand. That could be maybe more through another channel at, say, I don't know, a flower show or something like that.
Okay, but not off the agenda.
Not off the agenda, no.
Okay, great. If you had to sum up Spring Fair with one word, what would it be?
Passion for product. And
one word.
Well, if in 2, it would be product and customer. So maybe
product and customer.
Yeah.
But if I had to split that down, product first, customer first.
Customer first, always.
Customers.
Yeah.
Customer always first. I think that's a good answer.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's what Spring Fair is about.
Yes.
It's the customer.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Great.